Good morning, good afternoon. My name is Raymond. I'm doing a presentation on why corporate governance and accountability are fundamental to business success in the 21st century. First of all, let me take you quick for a brief introduction. In September 15, 2008, Lehman Brothers filed for bankruptcy, triggering a global financial crisis, costing worldwide economy an estimated 22 trillion IMF, 22 trillion. The failure was at its core corporate governance failure. Lehman's board failed to oversee a mortgage-backed security exposure. So the background is they filed for bankruptcy because they decided to overlook some of the things they are supposed to be paying serious attention to. Thereby, they need to file a bankruptcy, and then the company virtually was, I would say, was collapsing. Another intro onto the Volkswagen emission scandal, which happened in 2015, also revealed to us that reveal how results at any cost of governance culture transform respected industrial giant into a global symbol of corporate dishonesty. Defeat device software installed in a million vehicles to circumvent emission testing went undetected because the government structure were too weak. Yes, it also, if you know our Volkswagen, they claim they've installed some device in a vehicle where we can detect some emissions. But upon people bought the vehicle, people went into buying the vehicle and doing like using their product until they got to know that what they said wasn't true. So when it affected their corporate ban, and then also affected the company, and then later they have to fold because this was also as a result of a weak corporate governance. So in my brief intro, I'll say corporate governance is very, very, very important in our day-to-day dealing. Whatever we do, we need to consider our corporate governance, take our corporate governance policies seriously. So the theoretical framework of corporate governance, the agency theory, where Doc said it over and over, the principal agent problem described the conflict arising when shareholder principals day-to-day control of the professional managers and agents whose personal incentive for higher compensation reduce efforts of personal enrichment through fraud may divert from shareholders' interest. Yes, in the agency theory, we all know that they seem to seek their own interest than the company interest. Yeah, this we've been taught in class, so I wouldn't want to bore you with all these jargons. And then I'll move to the stakeholder theory. The stakeholder theory. The shareholder primacy view holds that the corporation exists primarily to maximize returns to equity holders. Freeman 1984 challenged that these arguing cooperative have obligation to broader set of constituency, employees, customers, suppliers, communities, and the natural environment whose interests must be balanced. Yeah, the stakeholder also to take into account all these people whose interests must also be balanced in the pursuit of sustainable value creation. Yes, and then there's also an historical evolution of corporate governance, which along I will be explaining in due course. Then the comparative governance system of global models. We have the Anglo-American models, US, UK, Canada, Australia. We have the German coordinated market model. We have the South African Keene report. We have the Indian family business governance, and then we have the convergence and divergence debates. And they all have models that they propounded, like they all have models. And the Anglo-American model, as Doc said right now in the car, the dispersed equity ownership, deep liquid capital market, unitary board structure, strong shareholder value, emphasize the regulatory orientation towards the disclosure and transparency. Yeah, that's the Anglo-American model. That's the main focus of the model they've carved. And then it's also the market corporate control, hostile takeovers serves as a disciplinary mechanism aligning the protection than the civil law tradition. Yes. Then we talk about the German coordinated market 3 pillars, 2-tier board structure, management board, Western supervisory board, and obstructs co-determination granting employee representative seat in the supervisory of the board. Universal market with major bank holding equity stakes. Yeah, this is also, they also have their own model to suit whatever they do in their jurisdiction. Yeah. So we have the Indian family business and the convenience. They are all models under corporate governance. Okay, let's move on. Then the board of directors. Board of directors under corporate governance, here we do fiduciary duties. That's the duty of care. Last time we were taught in class, the duty of care. That is the board of directors owe duty of care to all of us. Fiduciary duty is just simply a duty of care, loyalty, and good faith. Yeah. The board structure, independent of separation of rules. With the board structure, they should be independent. And separation, everybody should have his free hands to work. Board diversity, the diversity of the board shouldn't be male dominated. There should be female, male, and from different disciplines. Some can be engineers, some can be economics, some with different background, which will make the board very rich. Whereby when they are making decisions, their decisions can be very vital. Board culture and behavior effectiveness. Board culture and behavior effectiveness will be like board culture depends on less of formal structure attribute than one behavioral dynamic hither to measure and regulate board culture. The norms, the interpersonal dynamic governing how directors engage with each of the management powerful shape with the formally independent director exercise genuine independence of mind. Boards dominated by powerful chair or CEO may pass a formal independent while exercising little or real oversight. Yeah, it's self-explanatory. Board culture, and yeah, I will skip this. Okay. Expanding board responsibility, ESG, AI, digital reach. Yes, ESG, as you all know, has become the order of the day right now, and so to make the board very effective, they should they should also take into account the ESG, the environment, the social, and the governance structure which exists in the various jurisdictions. Shareholders' rights and accountability. Fundamental shareholders' rights across the jurisdiction. Institutional investors and stewardship code. Hedge fund activism, say no, say on pay, and then internal accountability. 3 lines of defense are all part of their accountability. Shareholders' rights and accountability. These are the rights the shareholders have to be accountable. Then we have the consequences of corporate governance. As Doc said it in class, lack of corporate governance can lead to a lot of system failures. 1, financial crisis. And I wouldn't want to bother you. You all know what the financial crisis is. Systemic board compensation and failure. Regulatory sanctions. Lack of corporate governance can lead to regulatory functions. Example is the Volkswagen emission scandal which existed, and then I'll also come back to Ghana. I'll say with the first capital plus banking crisis we had in Ghana, though it has its own political undertone, but I think if the corporate governance policy were to be managed properly, it will not lead to where we got to. Yeah. Then contemporary governance challenges in the future. ESG, sustainable governance. Controlling of shareholders and dual class share structures, state-owned enterprises governance, digital transformation, AI and its associated dynamics. Because for corporate governance should be seriously these are the future of corporate governance, especially in this day of technology. The AI, digital transformation should be the order of the day, whereby we can all move at the same pace as our contemporaries are doing in other jurisdictions. I will conclude here. My conclusion statement will be the argument of that on this one can be simply stated that effective corporate governance and robust accountability are not peripheral administrative concern, but fundamental determinant of whether business enterprise succeed or fail in or fulfill stakeholders' trust, access, or are denied capital, endure and collapse under the weight of own contradictions. So I'll end my presentation here and